Welcome to GGKCS, the multi-generational podcast / FlossTube for fans of all things knitting, cross-stitch, and geeky. I'm Cece, and I'm so glad you're here today. Today is Wednesday, the 6th of January, 2021. And this is episode 429. We'd like to say a big welcome back. Love y'all to all returning viewers, and a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. Hope you enjoy the show. Yes, I'm by myself today. That is because my 21-year-old kid, if you're new here, Dammy, is back at university. So, they are back over in Seattle, and classes started yesterday, on Tuesday. And so they will only be on the podcast every other week through the winter and spring quarter, just because their class load and workload is really heavy. And so you get me. And I won't be doing the full podcast episode the weeks that I'm by myself. I'll be doing an abbreviated version of the podcast / FlossTube, but I have a lot to show y'all today because you know what? I finished 2 cross-stitch pieces this week. Holy crap. I'm so excited. So, well, like I said, I have a lot to talk to y'all about, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Here we go. All right, now we're going to talk about what is on my needles. So first up in this beautiful Belle from Beauty and the Beast project bag that my friend Mary made for me. It's got pink glitter inside. I am working on birthday socks for my bestie's youngest son Izzy's birthday, which is later this month. I'm using my French Vanilla cappuccino sock pattern that you can purchase on our website, javapearldesigns.com. And as always, everything that we talk about in the podcast / FlossTube is linked up in the show notes at ggkcs.com. If we miss anything, feel free to ask us because we do occasionally miss something. So, but you can always find out all the information there. I'm doing these on US 1.5, 2.5 mil needles, and my progress keepers are from Tilting Planet. So you'll notice I didn't tell you what yarn because there's lots of yarns. So I am doing these on 9-inch circular needles, which I affectionately call Zoom needles because you zoom around in circles. And what I've been doing is, other than the toe, I am doing 10 rows in a color and then cutting it and doing 10 rows of that color over here and then back and forth. You'll notice they don't exactly match up because there are some colors that are self-striping. So you hit them at different points. You know, that just happens. But when I worked on these last night, when I measured them, I am just a hair under 12 inches long. And I'm making these as tube socks, so they won't have heels in them. That way they can last him longer. And I think if I remember right from looking at my sizing charts, they need to be a total of 13.75 inches. So I need to, actually I have, this is my handy dandy sock knitting tool. This is called a Sockies, and it's made by Burning Impressions. And on one side it's got inches, and then I had them custom make it to do centimeters on the other side while we were living in Scotland. I wanted both. And so what you do is you stick it in the sock. And as you can see, the end of this is 12 inches. So I'm almost to 12 inches. But what I needed to see was, let me pull this out. How long is one of these? Okay, so a set of 10 rows is just a hair under an inch. And I usually do 12 rows of ribbing. So what I need to do is get to 12 3/4 inches. So actually what I need to do is do one more color repeat. And then, so that would be in this red, white, and blue colorway. Do one more color repeat, and then I'll measure again just to make sure, because I'm not quite to 12 inches yet. So I might need to do 2 color repeats. And then change the color and do 12 rows of ribbing in this color. So I will measure it again after I do this color and see where I'm at. But I'm making really good progress on these. I'm typically knitting on these at night in bed while I'm reading before bed. I don't do it every night, but I try to do it at least every other night. And I just do one color on each sock. And so that's really awesome. The other thing on my needles right now is in my Nerdbird Makery project bag, which I adore. I am working on my second iteration of the Cat Vent Cowl. Oh, I didn't bring the pattern over to show you the cover. It's okay. This is a pattern by Marna Gilligan of On Katian Biag. I'm doing it on US 2.5 3mm needles, and the yarn is On Katian Dub 4-ply wool darkness. It was from my advent calendar back in December, also from On Katian Biag. And so there was enough yarn, like I told y'all before, to do actually probably 3 of these if I wanted to. So I am doing a second one. So I'm sending the first one, shh, don't tell, to my bestie Katie. Oh wait, it's right back here. So here is a finished one. I don't know if I'm going to put the twist in mine or not. I haven't decided yet. So here's a finished one. I have done, let's see. Oh wait, I was holding it up. No, that's right. Okay. I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days, I believe, of clues. So we start out up here at the top with Twitching Whiskers, lateral braid, cat sickles, cats are here, right there. Oh, I love that. Another lateral braid, tabby stripes, part 1, 2, and 3, another lateral braid, little boopable cat noses, another lateral braid, and then yesterday I did cat sickles part 2, and then today is another cats are here. I did start this at a different point in the color progression. I'm still doing the colors in the same order as I did for the first one, but I just started them at a different point. Because if my math is right, which is not always, but I try, this pink color right here will be one of my cats when I get to it. So I'm just doing a clue a day on this, just like I did during Vlogmas. And so I should be done with it in 2 more weeks. So, and then we'll see, we'll do the math and see if I want to do a third one, because like I could do one for Dammy if they, I don't know if they would wear it or not. I would have to ask. I don't want to make it and then them not wear it. So anyway, so those are the 2 things that I'm actively knitting on. But I'm also cross-stitching, which I am so happy to be back to cross-stitching because I had missed it while I did Nanny Swemo, and then while I was doing the Cat Vent Cowl, the first one during Vlogmas, I wasn't stitching hardly at all. So I'm very excited. So all right, let's talk about knitting finished projects. I have one. This is my very first preemie hat for 2021 because my goal is, again, as it has been for several years now, to knit a preemie hat for every week of the year. So this year there will be 52 preemie hats. This is from my free top-down preemie hat pattern that you can get on our website, javapearldesigns.com. I did it on US 6's 4mm needles, and the yarn is Karen Simply Soft in the gray heather colorway, and then Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted in the caution and semolina. So I only had a little bit left of each of the caution and semolina, and so I kind of played around, and you know, they were close enough in color that I played around and kind of did a stripe of the darker one in the middle and used those up. So did this on Sunday, and so that's 1 preemie hat down, 51 to go for the year. So yeah, I really enjoy doing this, and it's always fun. What my typical thing I do is on Saturdays, I will rummage around on the shelf right here above my head that has all my preemie hat yarn. I'll rummage around up there and figure out what color or colors I want to use in that week's preemie hat, and then make the pom-pom on Saturday, and that way I'm all ready to cast on. And I also cast it on Saturday because I do the Emily Ocker circular cast on, which makes it a drawstring type of cast on. So I go ahead and cast it on Saturday, and then that way Sunday it's ready for me to knit. So, yeah, so that is what I have finished this week. So let's move on to the next segment. And now it's time for FlossTube. Okay, so I'm trying to be better about keeping good track of my crafting. Like when I work on stuff and such this is just a happy planner, happy notes. My friend Rochelle sent me this sticker. Make something, you'll feel better. That's so true. So I think I showed y'all some of this last week, but I'm trying to keep track of, other than preemie hats, which obviously all happen in one day. So there's no need for me to do one of these project trackers that I got from S. Ward Designs. There's no need because I'm doing it in one day. So I have a separate sheet here in my Happy Notes notebook here that I use for that. But I'm keeping track of everything in here is what I was trying to say. Okay. So first up, we have my finish of Baba Black Sheep by the Prairie Schooler. I'm going to show you where I was last because I finished it. So here we go. So this was a pattern. This is a pattern from the Prairie Schooler. As I said, it was gifted to me by Michelle Bindi Stitchy. I stitched it on this 18 count Aida, that's a little truer. The brightness is getting washed out a little bit. This is 18 count Aida that was dyed pink by Erin the 2 Martini Stitcher. I changed the colors because I was doing it on pink. So I used Classic Colorworks Black Coffee and DMC 02 and 780. I started this on the 3rd of August, and I only ever worked on it during Stitch With Me videos. And I finished it on Sunday the 3rd. It took me 22 Stitch With Me videos to do this. And my Stitch With Me videos are usually half an hour. So I felt like I did pretty good on it. Yeah, so that's finished. And I didn't bring it over here to show you, but I will be starting Cat and Heart from DMC as a kit. From DMC to stitch on during my Stitch With Me videos starting this coming Sunday. The other thing that I finished is the Cats and Mandalas February by Kitty and Me Designs. This was stitched on 28 count Lugana Artemis by Stitch Me. I used all the called for colors, including the Krynic sparkly stuff. I started this on the 27th of June 2020, but I wasn't tracking days that I worked on it in like June and July. So if I finished it on the 4th of January, so it took me at least 46 days, probably a little bit more, because like I said, I didn't track what days I worked on it in the rest of June and July. I didn't start tracking that until August. So the reason this took me so freaking long is because the petals, the pink petals there are 5 colors, and the green leaves are 6 colors. And so there is a lot of color changes, and I'll show you the back. It's not pretty because I had to carry flosses everywhere. And thankfully, this fabric is substantial enough that you can't see where I've carried it on the back. So this was for Dammy's 21st birthday, which was back in mid-October. But It is what it is. They want me to finish it in a hoop. So what I'm going to do is go to the craft store, and I actually have 2 more of these patterns in the same Cats and Mandalas line or series that Dammy wants me to do for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and buy 3 hoops so they're all the same, because I'm going to do them all on the same fabric. And then as I finish them, I will, I'll fully finish them and give them to them as I finish them. So I don't know if I'm going to do one this year. We'll see. We'll just see where I'm at. But I'm so excited to be finished with this. And Dammy's very excited too. I FaceTimed them and was like, "You're never going to believe it. You're never going to believe it. Look what I did. Look what I did." Okay, so then the next thing that I worked on in my project bag, sorry, I just flashed a little of the pattern, project bag from Stitching the High Notes, Joanna. This is one of her very early bags, and she has changed the way she makes the bags. So if you go buy a bag from her, it won't look exactly like this. But I love this bag, and I had specifically asked her to do a sunflower bag for me. And so she finally found the perfect fabric and did it for me. So, okay, so what I'm stitching is Hello Pumpkin by Stitching with the Housewives. I'm using all the called for, well, no, let's see, that's not true. I'm using, the only fancy floss I'm using is Weeks Jack-O-Lantern, which I modified the pattern, as you'll see, because I wanted the pumpkins to be Jack-O-Lantern. I wanted to use the variegated of that. And then other than that, I'm using the DMC called for, except for 2 colors. I didn't have the DMC, so I just use the next color over. So I used 932 instead of 931, and I used 728 instead of 729. Just so that, because I didn't have access to buying them at that point. And the fabric is 28 count even weave from Fortnite Fabrics. It's the Hen of the Woods color. And here is where I'm at. There, I feel like that's a little truer. Dammy got this needle minder for me, and I'm not sure where she got it, or where they got it from, so I can't link that up. But you can see that I changed these pumpkins to be the Jack-O-Lantern colorway, other than that one. So, I should have shown you, maybe, hopefully while I was talking, I showed you where this was last time I showed this to you. But I finished the cup. Obviously, there's leaves and such here in the little cutouts. And I've started on the big pumpkin. So I'm making good progress on this. I started this back on the 11th of September 2020. And I only worked on it for 8 days in 2020. And then I've worked on it 2 days since we talked to y'all last. So I'm working on that. I'm trying to figure out where to put things. Because I have water, which I'm going to have a sip of. And coffee over here I don't want to spill. Okay, so I'm going to put this back in here so that I don't misplace it. I keep my my craft journal in this sleeve from Love You More Studios. And then I have this little pouch that I keep pins in here. So, yeah. Okay, the other thing I'm going to show you is in this Winnie the Pooh project bag from Knit Run Dig. And what I picked back up working on my Edinburgh Castle. This is a pattern from Terra Luna Stitchery. They've changed their name, and that's why it says differently on there. Okay, so I am using Pattern Keeper software on a Kindle Fire 7. I would not be able to do this project without that. Highly recommend it. It was worth buying a tablet because it's not currently available for Apple products. My needle minders are from Top Knot Stitcher. The Grime Guard is from Crab Shack Stitchery. I'm using a Bitsy Bob Basic from That's So Calico. Oh, in my other projects, I'm using Snippities by Catty Cross Stitches. The silicone ties that I'm using on the project are from Amazon, and I've linked them in the show notes. Okay, so last time I showed you this is where I was at. And I was at, I think, 30,800 stitches. And here's where I'm at now. So not a ton of progress. So now I'm at 31,000 stitches out of 265,824. That puts me at 11.662% complete. So here is my goal for myself for this year for this project. I want to work on it at least 2 days a week. The fabric is a 25 count easy grid, I think. I want to work on it at least 2 days a week. So I want to get at least 200 stitches a week in on it. I know that means I'm not going to finish this anytime soon, but I feel like that is a good challenge for me right now. What I typically do when I stitch is if it's like a square that has just like 1 or 2 or 3 colors, I'll just do the entire square. But then you can see down here, we're getting into more of the castle. And so there's lots of confetti. So what I'm doing in that case is, whatever the next color is, I do it for the remaining squares in the column. This is where the page ends. So I do it for the remaining squares in the column. And then I go to the next color and do that. And so that's why there's some not fully filled in squares. So, but I am making progress on that. I'm curious of the math. Let's see here. Let's pull up a calculator here. If I do 200 stitches a week for 52 weeks, that's 10,400 stitches. Plus where I was when I started for the year. That will put me at 41,200 stitches, which means I will then be like 15.5% complete. Who knows? There may be weeks that I decide to do more, but if my goal is simply to do 200 stitches a week. And I feel like that's a good challenge for me right now. And we'll go from there. We'll go from there. And if I do more, great. If I don't, at least I've met my what my goal is. So you do what you do. You do what you got to do. That's all I can say. All right. I don't think there's any other cross-stitch content in the rest of the episode, but please stick around. And if you are only here for the FlossTube portions, don't forget that we have our seasonal alongs going on, and cross-stitch totally counts for that. The main requirement is that you started and finished it in the 3 months of that season. So the current AL is December, January, February. So your project had to be started December 1st or later and finished by the end of February. To enter, you need to be a member of our Facebook group. There's a link in the show notes. Make sure you answer the questions. The first one is the cat's name, Pink Pearl, or Pink, it's fine. The second one is who's the mama, Cece. And the third is to read all the rules, scroll down, and submit your answers. If you're new here and you can't remember, just write us a note in there. We're just trying to make sure that there's no spammers. That's what we're trying to avoid. But then there's a thread in there for you to post your finished project. And then we do giveaways at the beginning. For this season, we'll do the giveaways at the beginning of March. So every finished project is one entry into the giveaway. So don't forget about that. So, all right, well, let's move. And now it's time for our favorite part of the show, Yummies. I have to remember what Dammy says because I normally ask them. Yummies are our current favorite things we like, things we want to talk to you about. Yummies. So we got a parcel, an unexpected parcel in the post this week. Sorry, I should have emptied this before I started the segment. And again, it's a little thank you parcel from our tech editor, Meanest Mommy Knits. Her name is Lisa Beth. If you are a knitwear designer and you're looking for a tech editor, we can highly recommend Lisa Beth. I've put a link to her show note or to her website in the show notes. But she sent us some fun little goodies. She sent us a couple of stitch markers made by Jill's Beaded Knit Bits, and a couple of knitting badges, Got Yarn, and Knitting Rules from Distinct Designs Unlimited. And then she sent us a couple of, 2 different color of mini skeins. which these will be perfect for preemie hats. So that mint green is kind of washing out. It's a very, very pale mint green. This is Marinated Scrumptious HT Minis from Marinated Yarns. It's a superwash merino cashmere nylon blend. This would also, depends on how much is in the mini scheme, be good for toes, heels, cuffs of a pair of socks. So, but that was very, very sweet of Lisa Beth to send us that. As I said, if you are a knitting designer and are looking for a tech editor, we can highly recommend her. She's done amazing, amazing work for us. So, the only other yummy that I want to remind y'all about is hashtag GGK Crafty Pad, which is our Crafty Photo a Day challenge. You take a look at the prompt list. What is today's prompt? Epiphany, because today is Epiphany. Happy Epiphany, everyone. You interpret it however you wish. We're very cheater friendly on this. You post your photo on Instagram. Make sure in the caption you use hashtag GGK Crafty Pad, because that's how we find your photo. And yours might get chosen to be featured in the weeks that Dammy's on the episode. And you would be in the episode and in the show notes and on social media and in the Facebook group and such. Make sure, if you have a private account on Instagram, that you're following Dammy, who is Dammy's Doodles. There, just send them a message and they'll follow you, because otherwise we can't see your photos. So, yeah, it's always fun to see what y'all have to share there. And yeah, my only other yummy is coffee. Did you know that if you're the only one home, if you make a full pot of coffee, you can have your normal 2 cups in the morning. They're big. This is a Ray Dunn mug. Tired as a mother. But then there's enough left for you to have a mid-afternoon cup of coffee. And I'm all about that mid-afternoon coffee. So, I told Dammy this yesterday, and they were like, they thought I was actually asking them a question. I was like, no, I was just telling you that I'm drinking more coffee. So, okay, well, I have a lot to talk about in the next segment, so let's move on over there. And now we're going to talk to you about what we're reading, watching, and listening to. So just to okay, so the October, November, December RAL read-along ended, as did the, sorry, I'm trying to get myself comfortable here, the year-long challenge. If you're new here, the read-along is a challenge for you to read 15 minutes a day, every day. I don't care what you're reading, as long as you're reading. Audiobooks do count. So Dammy sent out virtual badges and coupon codes to everyone who had read 88 to 92 days in October, November, December, as well as sent out virtual badges to those who had read 61 to 87 days. Excuse me, I got all excited there. Next week, when Dammy is back on, see if that'll help, we will announce the ebook and single pattern prize winners for the final season of 2020, as well as we will announce the 3 grand prize winners. And there were, I can't remember, there were somewhere between 600 and 700 entries into the read-along. So we will announce those next week. I'm very excited. So we're continuing the RAL in 2021, and so we're in January, February, March right now, and by participating in the seasonal RALs, you earn entries into the year-long challenge, and again, at the beginning of 2022, we will draw for 3 grand prize winners, and we will have 3 grand prize bundles. There is a hashtag if you want to talk about what you're reading on social media, hashtag GGKRAL21. And there are also 2 ways to earn bonus entries. One is by reading every single day in the year. And the other is by participating in the Modern Mrs. Darcy 2021 Reading Challenge. There's been some questions about that in the group because in prior years, for the Modern Mrs. Darcy Reading Challenge, they gave you a list of prompts that you had to read your 12 books into those prompts. This year, they are encouraging you to create your own. Although they do include a list of like prompts that have been used over the last few years, which are welcome to recycle. Also, last night I pulled up the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge, which is a challenge to read all the books that are mentioned in all the seasons of Gilmore Girls. So if you want to do that, you could choose 12 books from the Rory Gilmore challenge and count those for your Modern Mrs. Darcy challenge. You have to read 12 books. If you read 12 books and fit those to prompts, whatever prompts you want to use, you will earn 12 bonus entries. It's an all or nothing thing. So you have to do all 12 books. So yeah. So if you have any questions, let me tell you how to enter. There's a finish line thread in the Facebook group, and you post once and then you edit your comment every day to put in your reading. Some people are very, very specific about, I read 37 minutes today. Some people put, I read 15 minutes or 15 plus minutes, whatever. Some people like to keep track of what books they read in their post. Our friend Silver always makes these epically amazing pie charts at the end of every season to show us how they read and such. No, every month, I think. Maybe monthly. Can't remember. They make epic pie charts. They're really awesome. But the basics is just telling you she read 15 minutes that day. And there's also a chatter thread. There's been some people discussing like what prompts they're going to use for Modern Mrs. Darcy and such like that. So and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're happy to help. Okay, let me tell you what I've been reading this week. First up, nonfiction-wise, I'm reading the book for January for the LGBTQ faith book club that I'm in, which is a book club for both allies as well as people who identify that way. And this month we are reading Transforming: The Bible and the Lives of Transgender Christians by Austin Hartke. So I'm only a little bit ways in, maybe 15-20%. So I'm enjoying that. I should put a link in the show notes because the book club is open by seasons. It's open for 6 months at a time. And we will be finishing up the first season at the end of February. And Amber Cantornes, who leads the group, and she has already set up signups and announced the books for March, April, May, June, July, March through August. So I should put a link in the show notes if you're interested in participating. So, you know what? I'm going to write myself a note because otherwise I will totally forget. Hold on, I'm trying to get to the right spot in the show notes. Link to book club. Because otherwise I will totally forget and I'll be like, there was something I was supposed to do and now I can't remember what it is. There we go. Okay, I've got a note, so we'll be good to go. All right. This week I didn't read any of the fifth book in the Harry Potter series, The Order of the Phoenix, which I'm rereading along with Harry Potter and the Sacred Text podcast and Swish and Flick and All Potter podcast. Again, this week Swish and Flick had a special like bonus episode, so hopefully next week they will start back in with reading the remaining chapters of the book. I want to say we have like 8 chapters to go, maybe. But they've been dividing them up, so that puts us at like 4 to 5 months before we finish this book. So we will see. I finished reading The Searcher by Tana French, which I talked about last week. It's about a retired police officer from the U.S. who wants a small, quiet life, and so he buys a fairly rundown house and some property in Ireland, I believe, and it's like fixing it up, but then of course gets involved in a mystery situation. I wasn't thrilled with the ending. I felt like the ending was very, very rushed and was not explained well, which is a bummer because I've read some other of Tana French's books and enjoyed them. So, yeah. I read Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. So this is like a YA horror meets Hollywood type book. And my main issues with the book is I read it as an ebook and it was not formatted well. Because the footnotes in the book are like really key to the story, and it was very difficult to get to the footnotes each time they were there, and there's a lot of them. A lot of them. I want to say like over 100 footnotes. And I also felt like it was a little long. It kind of dragged. So, but if I think I would have had a better experience if it had been an actual physical book. So, I read the 51st book in the In Death series by J.D. Robb called Shadows in Death. This is about a futuristic, I want to say like maybe 40, 50 years in the future, police officer here in the U.S. I want to say New York. It is definitely an adult series. There is adult content in it. So this book actually, though, dealt with a lot of her husband's history as a child, teenager, young adult, and someone who was in his past. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy the In-Death books. I can't remember. The next one's supposed to come out, I think, here in the next few months. So I really enjoy those. I read the 5th book in the Kitty Norville series by Carrie Vaughn, Kitty and the Dead Man's Hand. This is a werewolf vampire series, and this one is set in Vegas for the most part. And I don't want to give anything away, so I won't spoil anything. But there's things that happen because that's what you got to have for a book. So, but I enjoyed it. It was good. And then the final book that I'm currently reading, I'm not done with it yet, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This one has been recommended so many places. It is set in both the 1700s and present day. It kind of goes back and forth. And it's about a young woman who makes a deal with the devil, essentially, that makes it where people forget her. Unless they are, like, directly with her at that time. The moment they walk away, they completely forget her. And so she has to figure out how to survive. And and then something really uh, exciting happens that I don't want to spoil. But I'm really, really, really enjoying it so far. I've had it on my hold list forever, and it finally came available. So I'm continuing to read that. What we've been watching, we've been doing a rewatch of Stargate SG-1, and because, we were, all at home and all that, we watched a lot. We finished season 1 already. And we started season 2. Of course, now things have slowed down. Everybody's back at work and school and everything. So things have slowed down. But we did watch a lot of episodes in a row. And this is a series that we all love and have rewatched many times. And so it's fun to kind of go back to the beginning again and have all those, because it's been a little while since we've rewatched it. So it's fun to get back into it again. I've been watching random episodes of House Hunters and House Hunters International, as one does. I started watching The Wilds, which is an Amazon Prime show. It is rated for 16 plus age because there is some content. Essentially, the premise of this is this group of teenage girls are in a plane crash and end up on this deserted island. But things are not what they seem, and there are lots of things going on that we still I think I'm about halfway through the season, and there's things that we're finding out things that have happened in the future. It goes back and forth between them being on the island to them being off the island somehow, but we don't know what happened. So we're getting it bit by bit, but we're also getting some of the teenage girls' backstories. But things are definitely not what they seem. So I am enjoying watching that. We're watching season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. Oh, was it the one where the green lady, who I can't remember her name, is trying to broker a peace deal, but she's bad news? I think that's what it was. I think. But the season finale is tomorrow. So we'll be watching that. We watched the New Year's special of Doctor Who. I need to rewatch it because I typically watch the Doctor Who episodes twice, and I just was so intrigued with The Wilds that I have not watched it a second time. Captain Jack was back, which is amazing, but I've already given you a spoiler alert, but spoiler alert, 2 of the companions have left at the end of this special. And I'm also hearing rumblings that Jodie Whittaker, this is going to be her last series when it comes back, whenever it comes back, that it'll be her last series. So we shall see. We may be having a 14th Doctor. So, season 3 of The Rookie started back. This is the show with Nathan Fillion from Castle and Firefly, and he is a older rookie with the police department. Well, at the end of last season, there was bad cops, and he had been framed, and so this is episode 1 dived right back into all of that. So we're watching season 7 of NCIS New Orleans. Again, if you don't want your entertainment to be dealing with the COVID, you don't want to watch this. And season 12 of NCIS LA. We have the season 14 premiere of Murdoch Mysteries to watch, and I have the season 2 premiere of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist to watch. So excited. And then also this week, Death in Paradise starts back, and series 2 of A Discovery of Witches starts back. So I'm very excited. Listening to my favorite murder podcast, as always. I can't tell you what happened because since we've switched our recording days, I won't get to listen to it till tomorrow. So, and then random Spotify playlists. So there you go. That's what we're reading. Well, I guess what I'm reading, watching, and listening to this week. So, all right, let's move on to the next segment. made it to the end of the show. As I mentioned in the FlossTube segment, don't forget about our seasonal along. It's for anything you knit, crochet, weave, spin, stitch, or sew. So cross stitch, embroidery, all that's allowed in there as well. And we will talk about it in detail next week when Dammy's back on the podcast. Also, just a reminder that I'm a VIP for the Black Needle Society, so I have a coupon code for y'all. It is all capital letters, Java Pearl 5, and that gives you a discount on your first box of box subscriptions. The 6 and 12-month boxes already have a discount built in, and it's not valid on special edition boxes. All the details and links are in the show notes. Do I have any other announcements? No. I don't think so. So we'd like to say a big thank you. Love y'all so much to everyone who supports the podcast. We're very, very grateful for you. If you'd like to help support the podcast financially, to help pay for things such as prizes and shipping and technology behind the scenes and all of that, there are several ways you can do that. The first two are Patreon and YouTube Join, which are ways that you can support your favorite creatives and earn rewards or perks based on the level you donate at. I actually just did Patreon rewards yesterday. So if you were expecting a reward, it was taken care of yesterday. If you want to learn more or sign up for Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/GGKCS, or for YouTube Join, look below the YouTube video, and there will be a join button, and all the details and such are there for that. We do have a PayPal button in the sidebar of our website if you'd like to make a one-time donation. We are bookshop.org affiliates, which is a site with a mission to financially support local independent bookstores. If you purchase a book through our link, we earn a commission, and local independent bookstores also earn money from your purchase. And each week we make a list with all the books that we talk about that week on the episode. You can shop at bookshop.org/shop/GGKCS. We are also Amazon.com.co.uk and .ca affiliates. If you're going to shop on Amazon, if you go to our site first, look for the appropriate link in the sidebar or at the bottom of the show notes. Do your shopping as normal. We earn a little money back based on what you purchase. Doesn't cost you anything extra. It's a great way to support the podcast by doing something you'd be doing anyway. We also do, as we mentioned last week, earn minuscule partial parts of a penny if you watch ads before and after the episodes on YouTube. So thank you if you do that. All right. Well, you can find us online at ggkcs.com. There are links to everywhere else we are online. Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, our Facebook group, and all the other places. All the links are there. We hope that you have a great rest of your week. We hope that your 2021 has started out well, and we're all hopeful for lots of positive things to happen this year. The vaccine going on just brings tears to my eyes every time someone posts about receiving it. I've got several friends that are in the healthcare field, and seeing their posts on social media just makes me so happy. So I will, as soon as we're allowed and vaccines are available for general public, I will be getting mine. So yeah, but remember to take care of yourself and take care of others. Wear your masks, wash your hands. Happy crafting. I will see you back on Monday for a Stitch With Me with my brand new project. And Dammy and I will be back with you next Thursday. Well, we record on Wednesday. We record our stuff a day early and then release it. So, I'm recording this on Wednesday, but it'll go live on Thursday. So, Dammy and I will be back with you next Thursday. And until then, find us online. We love hanging out with y'all. Thanks for watching. Happy crafting, wear your masks, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.